Good morning, I'm Sheila, and today's project is going to be dry canning pinto beans. I did a video last week on dry canning lentil beans, but I got into all kinds of storytelling and I think the video was kind of long. And some of y'all that are wanting to do the project like this are basically want to know exactly what you need to do. So I'm going to try my best to go ahead and explain everything to the best of my ability. I have about 20 pounds of pinto beans to dry can today, and I think I'm only going to start out with a 10-pound bag. I've got about 15 jars. I'm hoping that that's enough, but I don't know. But welcome to What's Up, y'all. What's up, y'all, today is dry canning pinto beans. Come on, let's get started. Wanted to let you guys know, first off, I've got 15 jars here, and I've already washed them and I've sterilized them really well, because you don't want to have anything in your jars, dirt or any dust, especially if they come out of your storage building like mine did. You want to make sure everything is nice and clean. Even if you had cleaned them and put them in there, you want to rewash them and just make sure everything is kind of caught up to speed as far as sanitation and sterilization. So I've gone ahead and gotten 15 quart jars. I wish I had the half-gallon jars. I think that would be great. But then I got to thinking, a lot of times it's just Mr. and I. So with Mr. and I'm not going to fix a half gallon of Pintos. And if I need it, then I'll just open up 2 quarts, right? But today I want to let you know that I've already started my oven and it's on 225. I went ahead and got that hot. And what we want to do now is I've got the beans. I've opened the bag and put the beans in a bowl. The reason I did that for me, because sometimes I'm just not that graceful, and I didn't want to spill a bunch of beans everywhere. So I've got my little funnel and I got my ladle, so let's get started. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start filling up the jars. I'm going to fill them up to the very first little rim on your jar. And I've got also my lids. I've got them in a pie pan over here to put into the oven about 15 minutes before I take out the dry goods. Now, the reason I went ahead and preheated my oven because I want it really nice and hot, because once I fill up these jars, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the jars in the oven and they're going to be in there for 90 minutes. The reason being is because that kills out any bugs in there or little eggs, and you've seen those packages and stuff that you've opened up and they've got those little bugs in them. Oh, yuck. So we don't want that. We want these to keep for a good long time, or when we're ready for them. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, some of you go, did you look at all those beans? When I say look, that's what my mother used to say. She says, honey, you need to go in there and look the beans. Meaning, you get out any little bad bean, or sometimes you get those little rocks in them. No, I don't have to right now, because remember, I'm just dry canning these, and when I'm ready to cook them and I take them out of the jar, I will then at that time look them over really well and pull out anything, if there's a little rock, in case it is in there. So there we go. Shake it down really good. Try to get as many beans as we possibly can. So I'll maybe stick this over here. Alright, well, let me go ahead and finish filling these up. Okay, I have finished up both bags, 10-pound bags. I think that is correct. Yeah, 10-pound bags, and put them in the jars. I had out 15 jars. Actually, it took 14, maybe Yeah, I could have added a little bit in there, but hey, this is good. I did want to tell you something though, before I stick them in the oven. If you are using used jars, you want to make sure, first off, and I'm checking right there, but you want to make sure after you've cleaned them up, or maybe you can see it really well once you get the jars out of your storage or wherever, but you want to make sure that none of the jars are cracked at the top or chipped at the top, because it won't seal. So I've already done that. And also you want to make sure before you start adding in your dry ingredients, whether it be noodles or rice or beans or crackers or anything that's dry, oats, anything like that, you want to make sure the jars are 100% dry. That's why it's called dry canning. We do not want to have any water, any kind of liquid in the jars at all. So I'm going to go ahead and put these in the oven. Remember, I said I have the oven on at 225, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my jars in there, and the heat being there and it's going to cook for about 90 minutes, and with the heat it's going to kill out any little bugs or any little eggs that are in the jars. So then after 90 minutes, then we'll take the jars out, seal them up, and wait for the ping. You ready? Come on. Now, some of you might just, pick the jars up and put them in there one by one. I don't know. I've just got this thing. It's probably just a Sheila thing that, the racks that are in there, they got the little wires. They got about an inch or so between. I'm always afraid my jar is going to kind of tilt in one of those little grooves and turn over. So I've been putting them in a pan. You do whatever way that you feel comfortable with. For me, is this. So, but we have to be careful how much we put in a pan because they are quite heavy. So let me go ahead and stick these in the ovens and set the timer for 90 minutes. Okay, I've got my oven set for 90 minutes or an hour and 30 minutes. Then once that's done, right 15 minutes before I take them out of the oven, I'm going to put my pan of lids in there as well, and to make sure that they're sterilized. Also, it'll heat up around the rim of the lid, and the tops of the jars are already hot, but I like to do that, just an extra precaution with that, and then so it will seal really well because I want my beans to keep. So I'll be back in about 90 minutes, and we'll take them out of the oven, and I'll show you next what you need to do. Okay, it's 90 minutes is up. I think we have 20 seconds left. I've already put the lids in a pie pan in the oven about 15 minutes ago. So you got the last 15 minutes of it. You want to put your lids in there so they can get hot, and the rubbery part, the lid, the sealing part also gets hot. So it will help it seal. There it is. Okay, guys. So what I'm going to do is, I put them all in a pan, but I'm only going to take one out at a time because I want to make sure, not that they're going to cool off that fast, but I just like to pull one out at a time to make sure those jars stay good and hot, so they're going to seal really well. And I put my little rings in here, it'd be handy duty to get to. So let's go ahead and pull them out. I've got my mitt here. Now remember, the jars are hot. So let's do it. That's hot, guys. And what you want to do is make sure that you get the lids on good and tight. And then we're going to set this to the side. That's all there is to it. Isn't it easy peasy? Maybe we'll start hearing them ping before too long. Sometimes it takes about 30 minutes. I put 15 lids in there, but only used 14 jars. I was thinking I should have took one out. Whoops, this doesn't want to go on. Okay. Number 2. Sometimes these bands can get ornery. Don't want to go on right. My grandma says you're not holding your mouth right. Now look how easy that one went on. Sometimes they go on easy, sometimes they don't. So make sure you get them good and tight. That's the main thing. Okay, y'all, this is the finished product. I went ahead and finished putting the lids and the bands on, taking one at a time out of the oven because I want to make sure that the beans stayed hot till I could get to all of them. I did the first 3, I think I did not wipe the top of the lid off with a dry cloth. And remember, it's already dry canning, there's nothing wet. But in case there was like just a little bit of debris on it. So I caught myself in that, and I do want to remind you to, still take a dry cloth and wipe the top off, which I did the rest of them. I'm just crossing my fingers and hoping that all of them will seal so that I don't have to do it over again. The 3 that I did without wiping the lid off. But anyway, here it is. It's already started pinging as I was ending up on the last couple. So that's a good sign. They are sealing. So that first or second one, remember, it's already started to seal. So that's good news. Anyway, it's going to be some good eating for the winter. But see how easy that was? Easy peasy, guys. I know if I can do it, you can do it. Well, thank you. Did you hear that? Another ping. Well, thank you for joining me today. I hope you learned something today, as I have learned actually by watching some of the videos. And this is how I came to do this. So hopefully you learned as well. And let's go can some dry goods. Want to? Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get busy. I've got some cleaning up to do around the house. Remember, I love you and Jesus loves you more. Bye, guys.